My place of birth is Nagpur itself. I was born and brought up in Nagpur. My primary schooling till 4th standard has been completed in Bhilai, Chhattisgarh. And then later on, because I was a mischievous kind of kid, so my parents decided to put me in a military school. And finally in 5th standard, I landed up in Bhosla Military School, Nagpur. My junior college, I pursued it from Somalwar Nicholas, and then finally the degree I pursued it from Ambedkar College. It was second year of my graduation, and I remember that my university exams were just about to be there, and I was just going through Orkut. At that time, Facebook was not that popular. It was all about Orkut. So I was just going, through profile of an old friend of mine. And he had posted some pics of some checks, and some cash and all that. So I was like a bit curious, I just, dropped him a text that, bro, like, what are you up to? And he was like, let's catch up. I'll come to Nagpur and I'll explain you. So apparently my exams ended, and then he came up to Nagpur and he explained me all the stuff and that what it is all about and all that. So I basically joined that organization as a sales executive, and in fact the reason behind joining that organization was just to make a few bucks, because couple of months which were about to come were off, like it was post my second year time. I just wanted to make some money, just some kind of pocket money stuff. So I decided that I'll just get into it. I'll continue this stuff for a month or two, and I'll again get back to my studies. But the journey was apparently quite long. I got into the organization, and within a duration of around 6 to 7 months, the company sales were rocketed by 200% or so. Then it was a time when I was directed, by my senior that now you have to take stage presentations, or let's take the thing to a next level. So that was the first time I booked a hall on my own. I went on stage, and that was the first time ever I was on stage all on my own, and it went pretty well. So that was again a kick to me that okay, I can do it well. And from there it just went on, on a positive note. Whenever I used to speak, or whenever I used to interact with people, quite often I used to get feedbacks that, sir, after talking to you, I really felt good, and actually your talks or your speech makes me feel motivated. So that was a point where I realized that okay, this is what I want to do in my life, right? This is what motivates me. This is what makes me feel good. So you may say that I found a purpose. And after that, rather than sales or rather than making money out of the organization, my main aim was to inspire people, was to motivate people, because by the time I believe that every person has some other hidden talent. So you might just say that during that process I recognized or I evolved with that talent of mine. And yes, so that is how I got towards the stage, and then it became a part and parcel of my life. It was kind of an exponential growth. I mean, I started working for that organization. Then in a duration of 2 to 3 months, I was promoted, as a higher executive, and then during a span of around 7 months or so, I got next post. And within a duration of 1.5 years, I was promoted as CEO of the organization. So I had no idea what is role of a CEO the day I was entitled as a CEO, because I was a normal college going student. And in fact, when I was promoted as a CEO, I was in final year of my graduation. So I hardly knew what it is all about. But then it was the passion and the responsibilities that were put upon me. So I started reading, I made some researches, I met some highly influential people, and and I used to ask them that, sir, how does this work? You won't believe, even whenever I would go on a casual parties, and there is some builder or some highly successful person, I would just go to him, and even if whether I know him or not, I would just approach him and I would be like, sir, I heard about you, and I would always have some other questions with me, that how does this thing work? I was working with Technobizz, and everything was going pretty well. I feel it was year 2014 that we guys decided, me and my business partner of Technobizz, we guys decided that we shall open up a new venture, and finally we came up with this idea of an international call center. And we was successful in setting up the call center at, it was situated in Bhilai itself. It was a 75-seater call center, and we invested around 50 lakh in the infra and all that. And you'll be surprised to know that even a single amount of money, that we invested in the new venture, it was not raised by some investor or something. 50% of the amount was something, which was like me and my partner's saving, and the 50% of amount was raised by some friends, who just wanted to be a part of the organization. So that is how we raised up an amount of around 1.5 crore or so at age of 2021. But that was the phase when I actually got to know that all that glitters is not gold. There was a friend of mine who was having some malicious intentions behind it. He approached to us as a director of an organization, which deals with the projects and all which is related to your call centers. And because he was a friend, so he was the first person to trust upon. So we apparently did that. He promised us that he'll bring the process to us, and to be very frank, to be very honest, we guys were pretty novice back then. We had no idea, because at age of 2021 you had money, you had fame, but basically we were not having any sort of guidance from anywhere. So whatever we were doing, it was all self-tested, or it was like we were just putting whatever we knew to test. So nothing was foolproof back then. And this guy with on whom we believe that he'll give us the process, and finally this center will start up or it will take off, and then apparently we'll make money from the second venture. But that practically never happened. I mean, that center never became live. We sustained a staff of around 70-75 people for a duration of 7 months without a single income from that particular setup. At the same time, because the setup, the infra was already invested, so there was hardly that we can do anything about it. So now what happened? The organization which we already owned and which was running successful was under pressure. Then finally in 2015 I decided that I had my share of this organization till date, and in 2015 I actually resigned from that organization.